and good morning. Thanks for joining me today. Hope you all had a long weekend. So today I'm going to do something different than usual. I'm going to try and start streaming a project from start to finish. This project is for work, my full-time job at All Turtles. We're going to build this website in Gatsby with MDX powered routes and pages. So each of these case studies is going to have its own MDX file, and we'll use some front matter to handle things like ordering and content, titles, descriptions, things like that. And then clicking on each one is going to bring you to this case study detail page. And then the project button in the bottom then take you to the next one. So it's a pretty simple site. But I'm sure we'll run into some things I'm not sure about, and have to do some Googling on the fly or looking at past projects. I think normally when I'm streaming, it's a little more faster paced and I have a concrete plan. So I think these streams might be a little bit longer and less action packed. But yeah, I'm just gonna go for it. So before we dive into that though, I do want to continue off just a little bit with the content planning that I was doing on my last 45-minute stream last week. Oh, is my fireball dead? I'm testing it out. How about oh, I'm dead. Okay, we're good. Cool. So I did a quick stream last week on Thursday to just do some planning for the future. Lots and lots going on. I needed to just get it out of my head, all the different priorities floating around. So we looked at, or I wrote down some egghead stuff. This is in progress right now. This is kind of ongoing in the background. I've got 3 videos for the ScreenFlow collection waiting for approval at the moment. Streaming. So here we are right now, All Turtles website build out. This is, I think this week is going to be a lot of this. There is a due date for the V1 of this site of Tuesday of next week. So I have 1 week to build this all out, pixel perfect, responsive, get all the content in there, etc. Then we got lower priority stuff like stream improvements, although some of this I might do today. For example, because this stream is probably going to be longer, 3-ish hours, I'm going to need to go to the bathroom, get water, get more coffee, and I don't have a beer back screen. So maybe we'll make that. When I realize I need to take a break, maybe that'll be the time we take a pause from the Gatsby site, build a beer back screen live. Blog post about dual box setup. Oh, this is actually done. At least the first version of it. So that's cool. So Party Corgi website, also on my radar, also a priority. However, probably not this week, maybe next week. My website, also kind of an ongoing thing. We don't need to really get into the details here. I can link my Kanban board. You can take a look at that real quick. What's up, Ben? Good to see you. Christian, good to see you. Hey, Nikki, Dom, my favorite nerd. Right back at you. Cool. I'm glad y'all are here with me today. Okay, looking at my GitHub, I'm gonna go to my project, tasks. So here's my ever-growing Kanban board. Molebox, what is up? How are you? It is early morning. This is an early stream for me. I don't normally stream at this time of day. 11:43 a.m. here in New Jersey. So yeah, if you're interested in seeing what's on my radar for my personal site, here we are. Okay, back to Notion. And then later this week, so Robert Tables has been very kind and patient with me. He purchased feedback. We can also bring this up here. So he purchased this one, the Indie Devs Plus is what I'm calling it for now. Before this landing page even existed, and this was like probably 3 weeks ago, and Yeah, that is coming up in priority. We have a meeting later this week to kick this off. We're going to be doing some design work on his site. Our meeting will probably start one-on-one private, and then I think we might plan to have him on my stream, which will be really fun. Okay, so getting close to starting to code. I wanted to like kind of market this week of streaming, this website build out, and say, if you've never built a Gatsby site, tune into my stream. This is a great time to follow along. However, that never happened. So, and here we are. I have a deadline, 1 week. I didn't really do much prep. Did a little prep actually, a while back. So I just hit the go live button. We're just gonna do it. I'm not marketing it. Maybe there could be, this could be like the test run, and then later down the road, I could market it up and advertise it as a workshop, free workshop on Twitch to get started with Gatsby and MDX from a empty repo. Sweet. I think that's like a good recap of where I'm at. We are going to be following a tutorial that I wrote here, create an MDX powered Gatsby site from scratch. Jay, what's up, dude? So yeah, this is what I used this, or I built a Gatsby site last week. Lots of Gatsby lately, which is great. Oh, this is not it. It's going to be foundations. So this is also client work, full-time work. So this is all built in Gatsby. And then while getting this set up, I wrote this blog post. So I'm going to be following this and kind of testing it out myself as we build out the All Turtle site. Thanks for the follow, Jay. Mobox, thank you for the follow. Trust Codes, thank you for the follow. Oh, lots of follows. Thank you all. Christian, Batty QB, that girl from Jamaica, Black Tech Diva. Hey, that's Monica. She's probably not here right now, but I see you in the follow from a couple days ago. Silent Progressional, Jonatron. These are all follows that happened while I wasn't live. Helen, thank you for the follow. Jason Langsdorff followed me 4 days ago. That's pretty funny. Okay. Yoda Droid. Love Star Wars. Thank you for the follow. Tony says, so you've decided on Gatsby for the All Turtles. Yes, for the moment, that's what I'm going with. It worked out well for this Modern Health site. Nice and fast and easy to spin up. I've got some experience with it just from my personal site. So yeah, we're moving forward with Gatsby on All Turtles as our go-to for marketing sites, which we tend to do a lot of. So yeah, dog fooding time, exactly. Time to see if the content I created worked. You did something similar this morning with one of your recent posts, and it was fairly painless. That's awesome. Yeah, half the reason I write blog posts is for myself to come back to. All right, so let's get started. I've got a repo. I know I have a lot of windows open, and I'm sorry. Let's get some of these out of here. So I've got a repo. I set this up previously just to get CI/CD going and DNS, all that stuff with Google domains. So you can see if I've got a fake dist folder. I created this by hand. And then I got my Circle CI config. And a very basic package JSON. So it's not quite from scratch, but you get the idea. Ryan Harris, what's up? How's it going? Good to see you. How are you this morning? Do you have a stand-up today or anything? I've got some meetings later this afternoon. It's actually my 1-year anniversary at All Turtles, so I'm getting a performance review, which I'm really excited about. Your stand-up is in the afternoon. Awesome. Yeah, I should be getting a raise. We'll see. We are in reduced pay mode at the moment because of COVID, so we'll see. All right, so initializing a new Gatsby default site. So I've already got the Gatsby CLI installed globally. I can skip that step. So let's do a Gatsby new Gatsby site. This would probably be a little bit weird because I've already got a folder and a repo that I'm inside of, so I might have to manually move some stuff around. So I'll prep for that by bringing up my Finder. Yeah, you can see Gatsby site here is in here in a nested folder. So I'm going to pull this out once this completes. Oh, while this works, we can test out my Apple script. So hide menu. We should see, yeah, there the menu comes in at the top. Pretty cool. If you're interested in that, I released this tutorial on Twitter yesterday. Show and hide the Mac menu bar using Apple script. And we can tuck it back away. Love that you got started. Oh, let me share this. Leap and Lemur, how's it going? Waggle pile. Yes. Love that you got started on the AppleScript stuff. Yeah, I recorded a bunch of ScreenFlow, well, a bunch, 3 ScreenFlow Egghead screencasts over the past few days. And Egghead, obviously, well, not obvious to some people, but they try to eliminate distractions. And one of those distractions is the Mac menu bar. However, when I'm working just day to day, I don't like it hiding. I kind of like it there all the time. So rather than having to fight that and go into settings all the time, found this Apple script on Stack Overflow, modified it slightly, played with it a little bit just to see if I could, break it and then fix it. So I had a little bit of an understanding. I took out some stuff that seemed unnecessary and then just wrote it up, documented it a bit, learned a few things, but it's pretty simple. You just copy and paste this Apple script into the Apple script editor, which every Mac just comes with. And then I wrote a bash alias to execute this script from my terminal at any point. You were on fire this weekend with the content. Yeah, I was really motivated and excited. It's kind of addicting, honestly. It's like once you have the process down a bit and you break down some of the barriers and friction, it's really fun. Just writing down these things so you don't forget them, and give yourself a deeper understanding of what's going on. Take the time to do it. If you have the time, I think it's definitely worth it. All right, so I assume this finished. It did finish. Cool. So I'm going to just pull all of this out, so we don't need it nested here. Okay. Can probably get rid of that. Package JSON already exists. We'll replace it, sure. And then we can get rid of this Gatsby site folder. Ryan says, I was trying to fix my NPM package, outline a new article, prep my collection, and work on my hooks. That's a lot to juggle at one time. That is a lot. That's kind of why I did this content planning short stream last week. Like, all of these things are super exciting to me and were just floating in my head all the time. And getting it out on paper kind of helped me stop thinking about it and not get too overwhelmed with all the cool stuff that I want to do. All right, so let's take a look at what was generated here. We're going to change the name. So this is going to be all turtles. And the author is now me. Here's my all turtles email. And the description. Great. All right, I think that's good enough for now. Let's give it a shot, see if this runs. I should probably move my Slack to my second monitor. I am technically working right now, so I might need to type on Slack. We'll see. All right, so let's just give it an npm start, see what happens. Ooh, I need to watch that. What do you need to watch? Did I mention something? The planning stream, it was really quick. I accidentally did it right before a meeting that I forgot I had to do for work. So it's only like 40 minutes long or so. And really all it was is just me talking out and writing notes in Notion about what is on my head and kind of prioritizing it. The prioritization isn't really represented here. I probably could take this a step further and maybe we could put in a calendar. Is there a calendar in Notion? I feel like I don't use Notion to its full extent. Calendar. Did I miss it? There it is. Calendar full page. Calendar inline. And could I move this? Let's see, we want All Turtles website build out here. Cool. And then drag it nice. So yeah, this is going to be a full week of this. Yeah, this is awesome. I feel like there's a lot I could do here. It's maybe not quite what I'm going to do on stream today. I'm not sure how prioritization would work here. Could I color this stuff? Tag it? I don't know. Maybe it's like a Kanban combined with a calendar, or maybe it's a GitHub project with milestones. For now, this is good enough. This is good enough. All right, we've got, it looks like it built successfully. So bring up my Chrome. Calendar and Kanban, Wenban. I think you're onto something there, David. Well, I guess I'm going to check out Notion now. That looks great. Oh, wow. Yeah, it just went for free. It just went free. They changed their plan. I canceled my plan, downgraded from the $8 a month to the free plan. It's not perfect. It's not perfect by any means, but I think it's worth a shot. Just 10 minutes, play around, see what you can do. It's pretty cool. I use it because I don't have anything better at the moment. I think it is one of the better note-taking apps on the market. You can copy and paste this out. Let's see if I copy and paste this into, just do a new file. You can see the markdown is preserved as I'm copy and pasting it out. So that's pretty nice. You could write blog posts in Notion, copy and paste them into your MDX files to publish on your blog. Keep meaning to give Hyper a go. I haven't heard of Hyper. You mind throwing a link for that? I'll definitely check it out. I've been putting off migrating from Trello to Notion. I mean, Trello still has its place, I think. I think you could use both at the same time. Notion does have Kanban that you could use if you wanted to. I do like how Trello is just hyper-focused on Kanban, and also it's got really nice integrations with Slack and GitHub issues. You can link pull requests, you can link issues to your Trello tickets, Trello cards. Last week I was straight up Terminal and Tmux because of Robert Tables. I haven't tried Tmux yet. It's been recommended to me a few times. I feel like my Terminal game is pretty weak. I'm just using iTerm 2. It does get kind of unwieldy when I'm working on multiple projects and I have multiple terminals open. I kind of wish I'm using the integrated VS Code terminal to just kind of keep everything consolidated, but I haven't made that switch yet. Yeah, Notion did go free. See, unlimited blocks, unlimited notes for free. I think the $4 plan is going to have API access, but that's not out yet. The API is not out yet. We'll see about that. Hyper is. Thank you for the link. Let's check it out. Oh, this isn't a terminal. Got it. Cool. I'm gonna add this to my links. So here's another really I don't know, hacky is the right word. My collection of links. I feel like I should be using, what is it called, Pocket or something, but that's okay. Go back to our content planning. Hyper's dope, but another Electron app. Is something wrong with Electron apps? I'm not up to speed. The dope thing about Trello is they have a super simple API. I've never actually used a Trello API. That could be cool. I've just used it, I guess, abstracted with the integrations. In before Notion API is a paid feature. Oh, it's definitely a paid feature. 100% it's going to be a paid feature. It's on their pricing page. It's going to be the $4 and up plan. I feel like a little lost in the sea of Trello columns and notes. Yeah, I think Notion might support more things. I also think there's a way to use both together. If you want to get like super granular tasks, like engineering tasks, you could even link to there might be a Trello Notion integration, who knows? Yeah, it's the same thing. Teamworks is cool, but if you're not tunneling into a server, I don't think you get the full benefit. Okay. Yeah, Pocket. Lots of people saying Pocket. Need to use Pocket instead of just this long text list. Electron apps, bye RAM. Oh, yeah, I'm not into that. I've already got Figma open, so my RAM is already kind of accounted for. Sweet. Close some of these tabs. So we've got our default starter up and running already. That was super easy. So I'm just going to follow along with my blog post word for word, even though I know some of this stuff already. So let's get familiar with the project structure by making a small change. And by that, I mean just like change some words. So let's go to our index page. Oh, why is it TypeScript? Is that new? Is TypeScript the new Gatsby default? Where's Ben? Is Ben still in here? The design looks sick, yeah. I did not design this. I'm very lucky to work with extremely talented designers at All Turtles that I admire greatly, as well as illustrators. Like our illustrator, his name is Carlos. I wish I had their social links handy, but I don't. Our illustrator Carlos did all this illustration. It's wild to me. You have the option to disregard the TypeScript I used yesterday to create the newsletter site. So it's like default TypeScript, but then you can opt out with an option. Ooh, I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like you should be opting into TypeScript, not opting out for something like Gatsby. So does that mean there's a bunch of stuff in here, like in my package JSON for TypeScript? Like Babel plugins? Are they hidden? Maybe we need to consult the docs. This must be new because when I wrote this tutorial like not too long ago, that didn't happen. There was a Convo in Voice one the other day about this. Ooh, yeah, I missed that. I'm worried too, Tables. TypeScript sounds cool, and I'm sure it's great. I hear lots of good things from people I trust, like Nikki, about TypeScript. It's just, I'm not ready. It hasn't bubbled up on my priority list to learn it yet. And I don't really want to be forced to learn it. So we're going to try and, I guess, opt out of this. Where's the getting started? Changing the extension should be enough, but is there like Babel plugins and stuff that's hidden from me that I don't really need here? I don't really understand what Gatsby does under the hood. So I guess for now we'll just rename this and then get rid of this type here. Like, for example, page props coming in from Gatsby. Is that going to always be there? Gatsby supports TypeScript natively. Okay. It will only compile it for TS and TSX files. Okay. We're just going to move on, I think. We're just going to move on. Let's just make sure this works. We'll go to page 2. Go to page 2. Cool, still works. I don't know if maybe I need to restart my server to be 100% sure that works. No, we're good. All right. So we're going to change something. We're in index. We're just going to say hello world instead of hi people. Make sure everything's working. It is working. Hot reloading. Nice. Let's see what's next. This might be a good time to commit. So let's commit. I always like to do a git status before anything. Just see what's up. Add the new files, and then we'll just commit. This is my bash alias for git commit. Gatsby default starter. Cool. And I can actually go ahead and push this, and CI should pick this up. So we'll let that run while we move on to the next step. In my blog post here, which is pretty cool, I've got commit links. So as I wrote this blog post, it took me a couple tries to do this over and get like all my commits super clean. I tried doing rebasing and it just took too long. So I just started over from scratch until I got it perfect. But yeah, I'm thinking of making a starter. I don't think I'm actually going to go with theme UI. I think I'm going to just do Gatsby starter MDX. Just my version of the MDX starter. I do a couple of things differently than like the one on the popular one. So yeah, as I'm going through the post, I have like little git commit links, which we can, here's more. Anyways, next is adding MDX support. If you're not familiar with MDX, it is an authorable format that lets you seamlessly write JSX in your Markdown documents. I was first introduced to MDX by Storybook Docs mode, which I think became add-on docs, yeah. And this was like before joining Party Corgi, before meeting Chris and all y'all. And this is what really hooked me on MDX. We can write our stories like this. It was a super easy way to document my applications. And so it was a no-brainer for me when I first dove into Gatsby to use MDX from the get-go. All right, so we're going to add MDX support. And I've got this command here. So I use npm, nothing wrong with yarn. I just never really switched over. I tried it in its early stages. Why isn't that working? And didn't really care for it. I know it's gotten a lot better. So we'll let that install and catch up on chat. Fucking hey, TypeScript, yeah. About to be my next controversial tweet. I'm into it. I will like that. Exactly. Waiting with the like, Tony. Same. I don't know why they would. Where's the GitHub issue on that? I want to see the thread of knowledge or the thread of a discussion, like how that progressed, the decision making that happened to default to TypeScript. I don't know. Did they change the default font for the starter? No, they did not. You might be wondering why this is not bold. That is a Chrome bug. So I think it's Blink System Mac font is broken in Chrome. So you can see bold works if I get rid of this font. How that got shipped to production, that's beyond me. I can at least give you the issue that I say it's a problem to be part of the starter because you wrote that one. Okay, let's go. This feels like a dark pattern. That is an ominous statement, but you're right. Although, yes, I believe it is good to tell people you can now use TypeScript natively. The default starter may not be a good place for this to exist. Yes. 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 We're giving that a thumbs up. Oh, here's our friend. Rezi is in Party Corgi Discord. I think he's actually live right now. I was watching his stream earlier. Mixing them together with the default starter will cause unneeded confusion. Yeah, like we just experienced a few moments ago. All right, cool. Thanks for that link. I'm glad that I'm not the only one feeling that way. So it looks like our MDX dependencies have installed successfully. So let's go back to the tutorial. Yo, those code blocks look dope. Thanks. Yeah, so I started playing with React Diff Viewer. I know I'm going on all kinds of tangents, but that's cool. That's the fun of streaming, right? React Diff Viewer, here it is. And I styled this up. Actually, I got a little bit of work left to do. I think I need either a border or a different color to kind of outline this left edge. But anyways, really liked how this started working. So I also changed my styling to match in just random old, the triple backtick like here. Anyways, so we've got MDX installed. And now we need to add it to our plugins array found in the Gatsby config. So let's go do that, Gatsby config. We'll add this to the top of our plugins array. And now we're going to test this by creating a page 3. So we've got our page 2.js, but we're going to make page 3.mdx. And I believe I'm going to need to restart the server now. Well, let me just confirm that, but I'm pretty sure with a new plugin and a new page, I'm going to need to restart the server. Yep, I'm getting to the 404, so Control C out of here and restart the server. Let's be honest, some days Chrome is broken in Chrome. Yeah, I mean, ruining the bold font weight on the default Mac font seems like a pretty egregious bug. Really threw me for a loop the first day I saw it. I thought there was something wrong with me, my machine, my dev environment. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of being in the default starter. Yeah, hesitant to link people over to trying the starter. I mean, if there's some option to opt out of TypeScript, I would just link that or include that in your link. I should probably include that in my tutorial. I don't really feel like finding what that option is. If anyone knows what it is, I'll add it to my tutorial live right now. Which is sad because I've gotten many people on the Gatsby hype train. Yeah, I mean, I don't think this is going to ruin my Gatsby hype. That they're making a lot of good decisions and also some bad decisions, but that's life. Dom says, so happy you're back to streaming. Thanks, Dom. I appreciate that. I'm really glad you're here. It has been a while. Like I said, I did a quick 45-minute stream last Thursday. Didn't really talk about it or announce it. But yeah, it felt good, and it's been a while. I think last Thursday was my first stream in 2 months. It had been a while, I guess, with COVID and Egghead and my full-time job. All of those pressures kind of made it easy for me to talk myself out of streaming and procrastinate it. But I do think it's important. It's important to talk about your work, talk about what you're doing, run through the motions of communicating about our profession and our craft. I think it's definitely a very different vibe than a screencast. Yeah, you are talking in a screencast, but it's less conversational, and you're not really working out thoughts for the first time like you can do on stream. Thank you for the follow, Global. Boki is Moki Global. Appreciate that. I'm not getting, my AirPods are connected to my Mac, so I don't hear alerts. So I do have my activity feed up on the left here, but I might be a little bit slow to shout those out. All right, so we've restarted our server. This should work now if I refresh. Well, it is an empty page, so let's put some MDX here. Header, and we'll write some code. Let's do something like this, and we'll save it, and we should see something cool. MDX is all hooked up. We are ready to go with MDX pages. Excuse me. Let me take a sip of water. Is front matter optional? Yes, it is optional. Not required. Yes, I did remember to call out the restart. Okay, so next step is going to be create pages from content. So Gatsby uses this plugin, Gatsby plugin Page Creator, uses that internally to create pages from the pages directory. And we can see that here. Source, pages, we've got a few pages in here. And here's the page 3, which we just added. Love that we have the same drinking glasses, yeah. And a caffeine too. I think I can leave this one on my desk. Okay, so this is great for our like top level pages. But what if we want a blog or, something else where the content or the MDX is going to live in a different directory, for example, source content. So we want to do that here too. So, or let me just go back to the design to talk through my decision making here. These are called case studies in this site. So I think I'm going to have a content case studies directory structure. So source/content/case studies, and that will allow this to grow. I know they want to add a podcast section, so we could have source/content/podcast, etc. So that's kind of how I'm going to organize it for this specific build. So we're going to do source, we'll do new folder, content, and then another new folder called case studies. And now we're going to need to make a file. We'll just do case study.mdx as a test. Put some content in here. And what we want, our goal is a URL like this, case studies / and what was it? Case study. Yes. So we want this to work. And right now you can see it doesn't. We're getting a 404. So my tutorial does tell us how to do this. So first we need to explicitly install Gatsby plugin Page Creator. You might be able to get away with not doing that. I think I asked Ben about this before, and it's not the best practice because we are explicitly using it in our Gatsby config. So while that installs, we're going to add it to our plugins array. And you can see here, I'm passing an option for the path. So this folder content could be called anything you want. We're going to call it content for now. So back to our Gatsby config, our plugins array. I'm going to paste this in. And then I will need to do another restart on the server. Thanks for the link, tables. All right, our server restarted. We installed Gatsby plugin Page Creator. And now I'm expecting this to work. It is working, awesome. The first case study. So now we're rendering MDX content from a custom directory structure. For our case, that is source/content/case studies. And you can see the Page Creator automatically adds the directory name to the URL. So we have this directory /case studies with an MDX file inside of it. So we could add a blog directory inside this content and it would do the same. So it would be, root route /blog / the blog posts file. For my case, that's fine. On my blog, however, I like everything top level, and I did a much more complicated custom setup to get that to happen. So for example, if we look at a tutorial, you can see it's top level. And if we look at a note, here. You can see it's top level. Despite the directory structure not all being top level. I did it this way because it fits for the site that we're making, and also because it's quick and easy. Cool, let's go back to the tutorial and see if there's anything left. All right, here's where we were. Create pages from content. Oh, there are some things left. Okay, so we've got the directory, we've got the MDX file. My tutorial suggests front matter, so we're going to do that. Go to our case study, and we're going to add some front matter to it. For now, it's just a title. We'll call it case study 1. Okay, we already did this. We navigated to our route, and we found it working. Looks like there might be... Oh no, okay, this is just one level deep. So yeah, that would work. Okay. This also works with nested directories. There we go, as I was saying. And I even gave the case study example. Cool. And again, I've got the commit hash here, which will open in a new tab. So we can see the commit right on GitHub. Sweet. So we're now creating pages from MDX files within the content directory and subdirectories. Ta-da! However, we don't have any way to interact with those pages from our components. And this is super important because we want an index file where you can see all of our case studies. For example, like the homepage here, this is going to be our quote index, our blog index, but in this case it's going to be case studies, and we're going to render each one in a list, and then when you click on it, it's going to show the detail, the case study detail page. Okay. So let's do it. We're going to use a plugin called Gatsby Source File System to provide our application with data about the files, and then we'll use a GraphQL query to get that data into our components, out of Gatsby and into our components. So first, we need to tell our Gatsby app about the content folder by adding this to our plugins array. So Gatsby Source File System, this is not one you need to explicitly install. So we're just going to copy and paste this in next to our other file system, one that comes with the starter, which is the images. So we want to tell Gatsby about our content folder, which we named ourselves. Okay, we'll save that. And then we're going to, well, the tutorial suggests creating a new page. However, we're just going to use the index, the root route. So we don't really need to do this. We're going to skip this step for now. To supply this component with information about our MDX content, we need to create a page query. And I do link off to the docs here. A lot of good information about what the page query can do and how it differs from like a static query, et cetera, but we're not going to look into that now. So let's go back to the tutorial. So Gatsby automatically looks for a single exported GraphQL string in page components. And it passes the result of that query to your component as a prop named data. Okay, so let's start with the page query. So like I said, Gatsby automatically looks for a single exported GraphQL string. So that GraphQL string is right here. And we're going to copy and paste this into right into our index page. So we're exporting const page query, which is a GraphQL string. We're going to need to import GraphQL. So let's do that. And now we have this data prop. So let's make sure we're grabbing that here. And then I'm going to do an explicit return so we can console log out the result of that data. So we'll modify this function just slightly. And then we'll console.log let's say GraphQL data. This way we can see what's actually going on here. Before we do that, I just want to return to the GraphQL query. You can see we're querying for all MDX, and we're going to filter based on path. So in this case, we want everything inside the content folder. If I wanted to only query for case studies, I could do that like this. And this might be actually the preferred route because if I were to add other content, other MDX inside this content folder, which is not necessarily a case study, we would still get this on the index route. And based on our design, that's not what we want. So we'll scope it down to the case studies. So I'm going to save this and then restart, and let's see what happens. Oops. Cool, it has rebuilt. So we're going to go to the root route because that's where we put our query and our console log, and we're going to inspect. And let's see what we got on the console. We got GraphQL data being logged out here, and we can expand this object, and we can see our single MDX file with the front matter here. So title case study 1, that's something we set. Cool. So now we can render this. We have the data we need to render or loop through all of our case studies and render them on the screen. So let's do that. Kind of forget what the object looked like. So we've got all MDX, edges, and then an array. So we want to get access to that array. So we want edges. So let's do that. Let's do const case studies equals data dot all MDX dot edges. So this should be our case studies array. We can get rid of some of this. And now let's loop through. So we'll do case studies dot map. And eventually this is going to be a component. For now, we're just going to get it rendering. And then we'll return, let's return a link so that we can click through. And then we're going to render a title. So we're going to want node item.node.frontMatter.title. And then because React requires a key, I tend to do index. I've heard that that might not be correct, but it's okay for now. Okay, let's see what's happening. 2 is required. Yes, it is. So we don't have the slug that we're going to link to yet. So I'm just going to link to the home page. Let's just see if this renders for now. And it does. Case study 1 is rendering, and remember this title is coming from front matter in the case study, nested inside source content case studies. So we are well on our way. I think this is a great time for a commit. Get status. So we're going to say added example case study in the content directory. And I did push the last commit. So let's see if CI is hooked up. So I think it was stage.allturtles.com. So I expected this to be the default Gatsby site, and it's not. So I think that means that my CI failed for some reason. I'm wondering if I need a different build step. I'm not sure. I don't care too much about this right now. Just going to do a quick look and see what it is that I'm for the deploy step. no, build step. npm install, npm run build staging. So yeah, this command was missing because I did replace my package.json with the default Gatsby one. I don't know that I really need a staging in this specific project yet, but that's okay. So right here, we're just going to run Gatsby build. There might be environment variables later on. So let's add that npm script, commit it. And then we'll push this up and hope that it deploys in the background. Okay. Moving on. So we've got it rendering. Let's get rid of this. Got it rendering. But clicking this doesn't do anything. So we need a slug. What is the URL that this should link to? And right now, we don't have any way of figuring that out. We do have our MDX, but if you look at this data, there's no slug, there's no URL. All we have is the front matter title and this automatically generated ID. Okay, so the way we fix this is by hooking into the onCreateNode API, and we're going to add a field, a piece of data. We're going to add a piece of data to each node, specifically each MDX node, and that field is going to be the slug. So inside Gatsby node, we can copy and paste this, and we'll go through it. So Gatsby node lets you hook into Gatsby node APIs that happen during the build step. Not going to go too much more in depth on that on this stream, but we will look at what's going on here. So we're hooking into onCreateNode, and we get some arguments here we're pulling off. Let me fix some of the spacing. So if the node type is MDX, we want to create a file path, which is a nice convenience function that Gatsby source file system gives us. And then we want to create a field, and we're going to call that slug. And the value of this slug is going to be the file path that we created right here. I like spaces after my variable declarations. So now when we restart our server, we should have some extra data coming in to our components from the GraphQL query. Only thing is, I think we need to add this. Yes, we need to add this to our query. So let's do that. Back to our index. So here's our GraphQL query, node ID front matter. We also want fields, specifically the slug field. So yeah, we're creating a field here, giving our node some extra data. That data is a slug with the value returned from create file path. All right, I think we're going to restart our server one more time, get that query to run again. I don't know if queries are hot reloaded or not. I'm a very restart just in case developer. Yes, me too. I might restart more than I need to restart, but that's okay. Okay, we've restarted. And now the link is not going to work just quite yet, but we should see extra data here. And there is our fields object and inside the slug. And so this is what we're looking for to pass into our link component. Great. So here, instead of linking just to the root, we're going to link to item.node.fields.slug. And this line is getting a bit long, so just going to break it out. The answer to why am I not seeing my changes has been turn it off and on again so often lately, yes. Especially on my personal site, I find myself Gatsby cleaning, restarting the server a lot more than I'd like. All right, so we see this link changed from purple to blue, so let's click it, and there we go. So we've got our scaffolding set up for MDX content, automatically creating routes and then linking to those routes from our index page. So really all that's left is styling. And we are probably going to grind through some of that today. Before we get into that though, I do want to let's add another case study and see what happens. So let's add another case study.mdx. And we are going to give it, let's just copy this as a starting point. Case study 2, and this is the second case study. And you can see our loop is working, our map. We've got case study 2 here, and we click it, and boom, we've got the second case study. Hey, Monica, how's it going? Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. If you're just tuning in, we are creating a MDX-powered Gatsby site from scratch, which I think you've already done. Your site is, I love your site. But I've got some client work, or full-time work, I should say, to build. We're building this site here, the All Turtles website. We're gonna do a new homepage for All Turtles, and which is where I work. And we're gonna use Gatsby, and I figured this would be a great time to stream what it's like to create a Gatsby site with MDX from scratch. I also have been following this tutorial that I wrote, just kind of dog food, and make sure that everything here makes sense. The only thing that was a surprise was that TypeScript was included out of the box with the Gatsby default starter. We already had a long discussion on why that's maybe not the best. But anyways, we're coming to the end of the tutorial here actually. It looks a little bit different than how the tutorial did it, just because I'm tailoring it slightly to match the design and the content structure that the design calls for. So yeah, thanks to, I don't know if Tony's in here or Prince is in here, but you all both proofreaded this article a couple weeks ago. So I think you all did a great job because everything worked first try. Ben says Node 12.x had a new release today where it got rid of the experimental modules flag. Still experimental, but no more flag. Interesting. Monica says, it's always nice being able to reference your own writing. Yes. Yes, it is so nice. I do it very often. The Corgi editing team, yes. It's kind of wild how much better, higher quality my content has become as a result of the Corgi assisted design. I should have, but in addition to my rainbow fireball, I should add corgis so that corgis can fly across the screen. Can we Hadouken 10? Oh, we can. Heck yeah. Cool. Let's see if this deployed. If my deploy fixed it. My build. Nope. We'll commit this anyways. So we added slugs to MDX nodes. And I'm going to bring up circle. However, I am going to do it on my second monitor. I'm kind of curious to see why it's failing. The deployment, that is not the focus of the stream, and we don't need the deployment to work to continue on with the styling and the design. Just pulling up an error message. So actually I can bring this over. So here's the Circle CI dashboard. Let's see. Gatsby requires Node.js 10 or higher. Okay, this is interesting. I feel like this is new. More new stuff from Gatsby. Unexpected. So let's look at my Circle config. Yep, I'm running Node 8. A little bit curious about this too. I wonder how many people's builds are breaking. So let's try 10.13.0. I don't know if that's a default Circle. I guess it's called, yeah, Docker image. So bump Circle node version to 10.13. We'll push that and see what happens. Yeah, I do really like the start to this stream game. I wish there was like more consequences for the actions. I really want that hitbox. Yeah, can't think about that right now because it's not important. Okay, so that's deploying. I think we can actually just watch this deploy for a sec. I do want to take a sip of coffee. Let's see. Yeah, it's running. What are y'all up to out there? Are you working while watching this in the background or not working? I know tables, you're off from your full time. You working on other stuff, working on personal stuff? Learning XDate, nice. Molebox, adding an insane amount of animations to my site. I think I saw you talking about GreenSock. Is that right? I haven't played with GreenSock yet. I've used Framer Motion. Actually, I use Framer Motion on my site. Let's bring it up real quick. So this here, the hover and click on the heart, like the little bouncy feel that it has, that's all Framer. Also, this hover here, it's not just a default translate Y. This is using Framer to give it a little bit of a natural friction and inertia, whatever you want to call it. Veronica Geek says, learning HTML, CSS, and JavaScript while not working. That's awesome. Is this your first time kind of diving into development? Or where are you coming from with that? Mobox just found GreenSock. Cool. I do want to play with that at some point. Framer Motion has been doing it for just fine for me for now, but I'm not doing complex stuff. I'm not doing the complex things that others are doing, like J. So it looks like this did complete. I saw a Slack notification on my other monitor. So stage.allturtles.com should work. Oh, that's upsetting. So the pipeline deployed, but we're not seeing it update here. Interesting. So we might dive into that. Removing Framer and replacing with GSAP. Cool. Trying to be that dev I wish I had when I was brand new. Yeah, that's actually a big motivator for me too. Like when I was fresh out of school or in my first or second gig, what do I wish I had as a mentor or resource back then? Veronica, first time learning web dev. That's awesome. Well, feel free to ask any questions you might have. What resources are you using to learn? There's so many out there, especially targeted at the zero code experience level. That's not really what my tutorials target. I think my tutorials target like a beginner, intermediate, and up. I'm not super excited about talking about what is an array and all that kind of thing. Although I do think that's very important. There are plenty of people out there who do it and do it very well. Smash some GSOP out of the park. Awesome. I'm looking forward to that. I've seen all your code pens and they are pretty wild. Yeah, I'm curious, like, what would it look like to use GreenSock for some of my animations? I have ideas for other animations and ways to make these ones more delightful and complex. But I'm getting on a tangent. That's not important. So I'm curious why the deploy didn't work despite the pipeline succeeding. So we have build working and we bumped our node version. We deployed to staging successfully. I'm not going to take too long looking at the circle config because we can just develop locally and I can fix this off stream. So we're syncing our dist folder into our S3 bucket. I'm going to run a build, a local build. So I'm going to control C my server and just do npm run build staging and just see what happens. Taking a look at our package JSON one more time. I've got this custom build staging script. This might do something special for staging eventually. It doesn't yet. So dug in, Node 8 support was dropped in Gatsby 2.20. When did that happen? What version are we on now? 2.21. So pretty recent. I wonder what I'm on for my personal site. I don't have that open. I think it's minimized here, yeah. So this is fine because I'm not using, oh no, I'm curious. Maybe I already updated this here. Yes, I did, okay. I'm using 10.15. I guess I just forgot that was a thing. Back in March. All right, so that was like 2 months ago. A little behind the times. That's all good. Thank you for the CodePen appreciation. You are welcome. The stuff you're doing on CodePen, feel free to link it, by the way, Jay. It's pretty cool. I'd love to see it. Like, do you ever get to do that in production, like for clients? Like, I'm curious what it's like in context rather than an art piece. I think there's something really powerful about like a nice hero with a cool animation. I guess that's kind of what I was going for with my site here. Rarely, I wish, yeah. That's unfortunate. I feel like there are ways to utilize your, CSS animation skill set in a nice hero like, was it Stripe that has some cool stuff? Or maybe it's Netlify. Yeah, I like this kind of thing. Yeah, Netlify. Yes, invite from the wife to a Notion doc. It's probably, okay, what is it? Option click? Yeah, there we go. We're in DND mode. Like pairing you plus a designer, like a motion designer or a graphic designer, could make some badass marketing heroes. Veronica, I just want to say thank you for the follow. I know I missed that 7 minutes ago. I do have my activity feed open, but I don't check it often enough. Yeah, Stripes is beautiful, but it's not animated. So still unsure. We're looking into why the deployment isn't being represented here, despite the pipeline succeeding. I think I'm going to put this down for now. We did fix the pipeline, just not the, something's breaking somewhere, silently failing, which is not going to be a fun thing to debug here on stream. So let's just dig into some styling. We finished the tutorial. So let's go, we can actually close this whole tab and close this. We'll just go over to the index. Now we need to start our server back up. npm start. Yeah, Stripe design language is incredible. Definitely an inspiration of mine. Their docs as well. Okay, let's think about styling here. I've played with theme UI, and I'm not sure I'm convinced I like it yet. I definitely see its advantages, and I see why people do like it. But I haven't found the workflow pattern that fits my style yet. So I think because this deadline is 1 week, rather than kind of toying with patterns and trying to find new ones and figure out the pattern I want for styling, I'm just going to go with what I know because of speed. Stop it, theme UI for life. I mean, I've used it. I think it's great. I used it on the Party Corgi site. I used Emotion on the previous work project for this Modern Health site. So this is all Emotion, but the styled components way of using Emotion. But I agree with tables here. With a deadline, I would introduce the least amount of new risky stuff possible. And I think that is the advice I'm going to follow here. 1 week is a pretty tight deadline for a lot of content and responsive styling. Maybe I'll have some time to throw in some polish, like animation type stuff, parallax or something. Dom says he's a Chakra guy now. Chakra plus Framer. I haven't used Chakra. I've heard good things about it, both from you and others. So I'm just looking at here. See, I don't know how I feel about the style being mixed in with the content like this. I really like my JSX to be like you can see the content structure at a glance, and that's one thing I don't like about the SX prop. We could look at a little bit of an example. I'm not saying what Chakra is doing is wrong. I think it's just, not my personal preference. So I think this is what we're going to go with, something similar. And let me say what I mean about that. So I have styles folder here, and this has my global design tokens, similar to like a theme UI config file, but I break them all out. So for example, colors, really simple, just a bunch of consts exported. Same thing for like font weights, just a really simple object mapping our font weights. Got to drop for a meeting later, Ryan Harris. Thanks for coming. Tables, good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. Have a good break or meeting or whatever it is. Yeah, I moved intentionally away from styled components approach because I was sick of having to sit on naming patterns. I think that's something I don't know if I've solved it, or I don't know, I just never think about it. It's just quick and easy for me. So this project is done. So we've got some patterns we can take a look at. Maybe we can look at here. This is maybe a good one. So just at a glance here, it's really small. Like this file is 21 lines. You can at a glance kind of see what's going on. We've got a title, we've got a description, got a button. And there's some like decorative divs, decorative elements here. And then it's all wrapped in a max width and then wrapped in a section. And then the styles live in this folder right here. And like imagine if all of these styles were intermingled here. Like this would have to be broken out into maybe more components or just structured differently. But I like this high level view, and we can take a look at what this is. So that is representative of this here, build a strong foundation. And if we look at both at the same time, I'm going to cover up chat here. Like it's pretty, working at 720p is tough. Make this smaller. It's pretty easy to kind of just look at the design or look at the rendered version and look at the code and like map things together. So the background, we've got this like texture background here. We got the line pattern sitting up here. Title, build a strong foundation. Title right here, nice and big and bold. Description, button, styled triangle sitting right here. Styled circles, we got the circle sitting over here on the right. So at a glance, I can just look at this structure and kind of easily mental model what's going on. I don't have to parse through styles, etc. I also like the names. A lot of people have mentioned this to me, that they don't like naming things with regards to the styled components pattern. And I agree that naming things is hard. However, if this was all divs, right? For example, this background, this line pattern, if this was like a div, and then this div had CSS, or, you know, maybe if we were using theme UI, it had the SX prop, right? And then this SX or CSS, whatever you want to do it, however you want to do it, what was it called again? Line pattern. All right, so then let's grab this CSS here. So, you know, we had all of this in here. I know this is pseudocode and it's not going to render. That's fine. At a glance, it's hard for me to tell what this div is doing and why it's there and what it represents on the screen. But when it just says line pattern, it's super clear to me what's going on, what this element does, what it looks like. So yeah, I don't know, just an opinion. Plenty of people use theme UI and don't use styled components and do that successfully, extremely successfully, like Chris Biscardi, for example. And that's fine. So yeah, this is just how I like to do things. So this is how I'm going to, like Table said, I'm not going to introduce new stuff. I'm not going to introduce learning as much as I can. I just need to crank through because of the 1 week deadline. So this pattern has worked for me in the past, and so I'm going to continue on using it here on the All Turtles site. So thanks for listening to my soapbox there. Yeah, one thing I've done before is create all the styled components in a co-located style.js file to the component. That's exactly what I do. That is exactly what I do. Now, most of my components, or we can scaffold one out. Like, we know we want, let's call it hero. We know we want a hero component, so let's do hero, and then hero.js. This could also be index.js, and then styles.js. And all my components generally look like this until I introduce things like testing or storybook, in which case those tests or those stories would also live in this directory. Dom has to drop for a 2-hour meeting, HR meeting. Oof, good luck with that. Thanks for stopping by. I really appreciate it, Dom. It's good to see you. Talk to you later. Telves, I missed the soapbox, but sounding interesting at the end. So, Tony, I was just going on about my case for styled components and why I like them and how I think about it. I like to use Tailwind and styled components together. So that's super interesting to me. Do you have any examples we could look at? Any open source work, whether you or somebody else? One of the reasons I've stayed away from Tailwind is one, laziness or just not enough time. But two, there's too many class names. Lots and lots of class names in Tailwind. I lied. I'm going to be in both. Fuck it. By that, you mean you're going to watch the stream while on your HR meeting? Hell yeah. I've done it. Sometimes some of the meetings you don't have to be there 100%. You just kind of need to listen. Telves, you might want to consider checking your gain. But you have to turn me up. Yes, I am quiet. This mic here, I don't think it has volume control. Is this changing anything? Testing. I'm adjusting a knob, and I don't really know what it does. Yeah, not really. I didn't think so. So I'm using this Rode Podcaster at the moment. I'm not using my Shure mic. So there is no gain level that I can adjust. And then if I go over to my PC and look at my Streamlabs setup, it's maxed out, 0.0 dB. I don't know if I can turn it up past 100% in Streamlabs. Maybe somebody knows how to do that in Streamlabs. I know y'all can't really see what I'm doing here. I am on my PC. Filter type gain. Maybe this will work. Okay. This might be working. I just turned it up a bit. Does it sound any better? I can turn it up more. I'm going slightly into the yellow here. That worked? Cool. No, that was a good call out. Is it too loud? Or is it good? It's good. Cool. Awesome. Glad we got that fixed. You're not the first person to tell me I'm quiet. I did a test recording earlier before going live and noticed I was quiet. Had no idea how to fix it, but I'm glad I came back to it. A little more would be fine. Okay. I'm going to leave it as it is for now just because it was into that yellow range, which means we're almost into the red range, which would mean we're clipping. But anyways, I honestly love your argument case for style components. Cool. The JSX does tell a story. I can look at each component and at a glance quickly see what the heck is going on with my structure and not really have to worry about how things look. Further, or like one more point before I get back to coding. Actually, we're not going to be able to look at it here. Maybe we can look at it on my site. So if we go into the inspector, I've got these names here. So this is a styled components option. I could potentially turn this off for production, but I haven't. Anyways, you can see the name of each styled component is appended to the class. So we've got styles __ the component name, the styled component name, and then the hash. And this makes it super easy for debugging styling issues. So I can come in here and be like, okay, maybe my home page needs a little bit more padding top. And I know exactly where I need to go now in my code. Okay, I need to go to the styled component named home. If this was just divs with a hashed class name, it's like hard to know what am I clicking on, which component, which file am I clicking on here and adjusting styles for. So I really like that bit, and I think that Theme UI doesn't offer a great solution for that. I agree with Jay. There is no right or wrong here. This is very much my personal opinion, my preference. Maybe somebody who does a lot of front end styling, or turning Figma designs into front end React a different way, could potentially teach me their tips and tricks for what is their process. If they need to come into the inspector and adjust some padding, some white space, tweak it just slightly, which I end up doing a lot, especially for, I keep going back to this site, but it is a good example, especially for a site like this, where we've got these like absolutely positioned decorative elements. This is a lot of like hand tweaking the top and the right absolute positioning. And I take a guess in code, but then I really need to come into the browser and kind of use those arrow keys. And it's really nice to just be able to look for that name in the component tree or the HTML tree. Look for that styled triangle and adjust the top and left, and then know exactly where to go. But I'm totally open and interested in other methods of how to do things like this quickly. Hey, Reser014. The Resi Raid would like to remind you to wash your hands and stay hydrated. Nice. Let's do it. So I did wash my hands right before stream, but we're gonna stay hydrated too. Thank you for the raid. Thanks for stopping by. Hope your stream went well. Dude, that heart effect is so dope. Yeah, I'm really happy with it. It's pretty fun. This is Pixie.js, if you're not familiar. That's WebGL, a WebGL engine or abstraction. And then I'm using a particle generator or a particle engine to handle all of the... But yeah, this is how it stays performant even on mobile. It looks super good. 24 FPS or 30 FPS, whatever it is. No lag. It's really nice. Tony did find out that if your browser has WebGL turned off or it's unsupported, this will just break and not render. So there is a way to fall back to Canvas that I need to do. That's on my to-do list. I think I made an issue for that. So thanks to Tony again for finding that bug. Finally completed my mini design system. Cool. You were using... Hey, Reser, thanks for the follow. Dom, thanks for the sub. Thank you so much. Let's see, we got the... what was it? Streets of Rage. We got the Streets of Rage. Yes. We got the Streets of Rage GIF and soundbite. Twin macro does look cool. I've been kind of turned off by Tailwind, endless class names mixed in with everything that are very like shortened acronyms and kind of unreadable. Mobox, thanks for stopping by. See y'all later. Or Mobox, I will see you later. That song sends me back. Yeah, Streets of Rage is awesome. King Darrow, the ugliness of Tailwind is a trade-off. Productivity is huge. Agreed. So I haven't, just to be clear, I have not yet tried Tailwind. I've seen Tailwind code. I've heard great things about it. I respect Adam greatly. And I haven't tried it, so my opinions are, take that for what it's worth. I could try it and completely change my mind. It just hasn't bubbled up on the priority list yet to give that a go. Too many things to learn. Only one way to find out. Yeah. We'll see if I get there. For now, this is my styled components way of working has been getting me through. I've been able to work what I think is efficiently. Maybe I could work more efficiently and even faster, but we'll see. Yeah, you keep tabbing back and forth to the cheat sheet. Maybe once some of that stuff gets committed to memory, the productivity really goes up, speed goes up. So for those of you just tuning in, we're building this site from scratch. All Turtles is the company where I work at. Hey Jay, thanks for the sub. Let's see what you got. Toe jamming, or hell yeah, I've got that on random, so you never know. We're building a new All Turtles website. This is where I work, allturtles.com. I'll put that in. So this is the current site. It's more of a content site right now, and they're pivoting more towards an agency style, as you can see by the design that we just looked at. And I am working with a couple designers to make this come to life. And we started from scratch, essentially an empty repo, aside from some circle config. And we added MDX to our we started with a Gatsby default starter and then added MDX support. And you can see I'm kind of prepping for the case study pattern. So we've got our index page with a list of case studies. Clicking on each one will take you to case study detail. And we've got our scaffolding set up. So here's our index. Obviously we need to style it, but then clicking on each one takes us to case studies / the case study name. And we can go to our Visual Studio and look at our content directory. You can see we've got our MDX files that represent each case study. And so our next step is going to be to flesh this stuff out. Hosting is AWS, S3, and CloudFront. That's just the All Turtles standard. It's definitely overkill in my opinion. Maybe a little bit extra setup and time required to get that spun up. But it's just what All Turtles does, and so it works well. I'm familiar with it. I know how to do it. It's not as turnkey as Firebase or Netlify, but it does give us, that full control. So yeah, it's just an S3 bucket. I set the S3 bucket up with CloudFront, the DNS. I set all that up prior to the stream. I think it was like a week ago. I got that set up. So that's not something we're going to be looking at here. So next step, maybe we could get some styling going. So we're going to do styled components. So let's install styled components. And I think there's a Babel plugin that I like to use to get some more options going. I'm just going to reference my personal site and see what's going on here. Oh, so I'm using Gatsby plugin. Okay, I wonder what this is doing. I feel like there's a blog post in here, like a step 2 of my original blog post. Oh yeah, I know if you've been here from the start, you've heard me say this probably 5 times already, but we followed this post when setting up the Gatsby site from scratch, and it worked almost flawlessly. The only hiccup was that Gatsby introduced TypeScript into their default starter, which you may or may not want. I personally do not want that for this project. So yeah, we followed this. This is great for, starting from a literal empty directory to getting a Gatsby site spun up with MDX dynamic routing based on file system. And what this article does not do, does not talk about styling. So we're going to be on our own for that. By on our own, I mean referencing my old project or already done projects. In this case, my personal site. I am going to go with styled components. I kind of forget what I need this plugin for. It must do some like SSR, server-side rendering of things for me. So I'm just going to kind of blindly follow for now. So you plug in styled components, and then I also want that Babel plugin. I'll go back to our package.json. Babel plugin, styled components. I feel like this should be a dev dependency, not a build dependency. It's probably a mistake on my part. My personal site, the code's kind of a mess, honestly. I just kind of work quickly and I'm the only one using it really, so it doesn't need to be super clean. But anyways, I wonder if I'm doing something in the Babel config. Nope. Okay. So get this installed. Technically, all things in Gatsby sites are dev deps, and you usually don't publish a Gatsby site to npm. Hey, thanks for the follow, King Darrow. Glad you could join us today. It may be required peer dep. So I'm curious why the Gatsby default starter ships with. Here, we can look at our package.json. So the only dev dependency is prettier out of the box, and everything else is a regular dependency. All right, so we've installed styled components, everything we need. I should probably be taking notes on this. Maybe I could just reference the VOD, because this would make a good blog post, like a follow-up blog post to getting running with styled components in our MDX site. So Gatsby plugin styled components, we can add that to our plugins array. So we'll go over to our Gatsby config, plugins, and plop this in here. Cool. So we will need to restart our server. Let me get rid of this so I can still see chat. We'll need to restart our server, but before we do that, I'm going to create some styles and just see if we can get something rendering. So we're going to import styled from styled components, and then I have a nice snippet here. I can just hit enter, and we've got our very basic styled component. So we're going to do hero component and give this, let's give it like a background color green. And then from here, I'm going to create a really simple function component. So import React from React. And then make a function called hero component. And from here, we will return just a super simple div and h1. So let's just do an h1 to have some content in here. Let's just call it hero. And then we also need our styles. So I like to import all with an alias of s from styles. And then we can wrap this in our styled component. So it's s dot hero component. You can see we're getting some help from VS Code. And then we'll save that. And we do need to export it. Export to default hero component. And then we'll put it on our index. So if we go back to our pages index, and then here, so at the top we want our hero. So hero is going to be here. We need to make sure we import it first. Import hero from components / hero. Actually, it's going to be hero / hero because I'm not using the index.js pattern. And can't resolve styles in hero. So let's check that out real quick. That's because it does need to be a /. Cool, no server restart was needed. Styled components is all set up and good to go. This is a good time for a commit. Git status, so we add our files and then commit install styled components and render our first styled component. Sweet. So from here, I'm just going to take a look at the design. I think it's, we've got almost everything installed and set up ready to go to just start cranking. Peer deps are messy as they aren't always required. Like some Gatsby plugins depend on TypeScript types as a peer dep, which is not peer dep, honestly. Yeah, my understanding is that peer dep means it must be installed in the, I don't know, host package or directory or project in order to work correctly. I don't know what is an optional peer dep. I don't know what the right wording for that is. Celtic Frost, thanks for the follow. Good to have you. Okay. So I'm going to just start kind of looking at the design here. We've got a custom font, Quasimodo. We've got some colors. I believe my designer has some sort of style guide. Yeah, here we go. So my designer has set up a whole bunch of convenient assets, collections of components, type styles. Real nice for me to get started. Got our logos. Hover state, this will be a fun one. The arrow kind of grows, the tail just kind of elongates. Cool. So yeah, let's get started. Just gonna try and crank through some content, crank through some styling. There is one thing I just remembered. I am gonna want to install HiGen on this project. We'll get to that, but that will help us generate new components nice and easy, super quick. We'll start without it though. I do just kind of want to get some styling up and running. So let's make a new folder. Styles, this is where my design tokens are going to live. We're going to have colors, and we're going to have type. We're definitely going to have breakpoints as well. I think that's enough to get started. So let's go ahead and bring our colors in, export const. And so we've got a bunch of colors for each project. What other colors do we have? I feel like there's colors missing from this palette. Like how about our text? What color is this here? Yeah, this is not a linked style, so our designer has not yet linked this up, but our main text color is going to be this here. So we'll call this text and just set it equal to the hex as a string. And then I'm going to kind of group them together. So project colors, and then we have how many projects. It's Figma lagging a little bit. Yeah, okay. 6, 9, 10. We got 10 colors, 10 project colors. Cool. See if I can bring both up at the same time. There we go. Okay, so we got carrot. We've got vitally. I actually worked on almost all of these, which is kind of cool. Disco, spot. Sunflower, human cap. All right, now let's pull these hex values out. I like going over the code tab. It makes it really easy to just copy and paste these out. This is the life of a front-end engineer. Lots of copy pasting. Let's see, we're disco. It would be nice to have Storybook here as well. Probably not a high priority. But I do like rendering my color palette as a Storybook story. I think there's like maybe multiple evolutions of my Gatsby starter. Like a bare bones Gatsby MDX, kind of like what we set up today on stream. And then there could be Gatsby MDX style components, Gatsby MDX Storybook styled components. Sunflower. And last one, human cap. And we'll add in white. Cool. And then for my type, I'm going to reference my personal site. Because there's a nice starting point here. So I'm actually just going to copy and paste the whole thing in and then adjust it as needed. So our font family is going to be different. We can get rid of this now. Our font family is going to be Quasimodo. And then we're going to fall back to our default sans serif fallback. Monospace, not going to be used here. So I'm going to just get rid of this. Okay. So this does expect some things like breakpoints and font weights. It's also got some custom fonts in here, or type styles, I should say, that we can get rid of. Like this can go. These colors are not going to line up quite right. So just in an effort to not break it, I'm going to just default to text for now. And then let's add some breakpoints. I need to bring up my breakpoints file. Again, I'm just going to copy and paste this as a starting point. Definitely don't need this. And we'll stick with that for now. These might need to be adjusted for the specific project at hand. But this at least shouldn't break everything. Cool. So focus visible, we're going to need to bring this in, a dependency. Oops, that's not right. Focus visible. This handles focus states really well. If you ever notice on like a button, the default like browser behavior is on click. The focus state triggers. Really, that's not what we want. We only want it to trigger when it's tabbed through. And focus visible handles that for us. I'll throw a link. It's probably a blog post in there about why I use focus visible and how I use it. Yeah, this is it. So it's a polyfill for the focus visible pseudo class. I'm not sure what the can I use is. Pretty poor. So yeah, definitely need that polyfill. Cool. So I think my plan is for the next few minutes, get some of these styles to render. Let me bring in some colors, bring in some type, render our global type styles. And then maybe we could design and deploy a beer back screen because I kind of have to use the restroom and refill my coffee. Funny seeing something on can I use where it's not Chrome only but Firefox only. Yes, that is true. Okay, so we want global type. I have a global style here, global type style that just kind of sets some defaults for H1s, H2s, paragraph tags, etc. So I'm going to bring this in. Oops, I closed my site. So I think I actually have layouts configured on my site, which might be another thing we need to do. Layout. So layout is coming from components. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff here that we don't need. Let me just see how I'm doing it on my site. Let's do a global search for global type. So it is happening in layouts, and I do include it in each different layout. Okay, so we'll just copy what we're doing here. Webpack aliases, another thing I do want to set up. Definitely going to be referencing this stream. I think there's like 3 blog posts that could come out of this, honestly, like adding on to the Gatsby one. Gatsby from scratch. Okay, so we're going to go to our layout and we're going to add. So we've got this div. I guess this is centering some stuff. We want global type. And we're going to import I do use an index in styles, right? Yes, so we'll need to add that too. So we're going to import global type from styles / type. And that should work. Yeah, we can see things changing already. Cool. So I got my font sizes coming in from my site. They're not yet matching the Figma file. That's okay. Everything's wired up, which is feeling good. I think this is a good time for a commit. So we're going to scaffold design tokens. Cool. All right. I definitely want to keep going, but I need to take a break. So we're going to make a beer back screen. We're going to do a beer back screen live, so we can minimize this. And we're working in my personal site now. We're going to kill this server, bring up a new terminal, and open up my personal site and start the server. So I want it to be something like the stream starting. I think we can borrow a bunch of stuff from this. So we got stream starting, stream commands. Let's make a new page. Stream BRB. And this is just going to simply render stream. Oh yes, web-based overlays. And this anonymous wrapper function is not really needed. I think we can just do this. And this does not exist yet, stream BRB. I'm going to just demo what HiGen can do. So I've got a bash alias combined with some HiGen templates, is what they're called, templates and generators. So we can go NC for new component. And it broke. I must have changed something. Let's see what status is telling us. Okay. What if I just do npx HiGen component new? Oh, I need a name. Okay. So we want to get rid of the unnamed one. It should really fail if I don't give it a name. Oh, that's probably why NC didn't work. Cool. All right, so let's find that unnamed component and just get rid of it. There it is. Delete. Okay, so new component, stream BRB. Boom. Okay, so we've added a file at this specified location, source components / stream BRB. We've also injected a line into our index file. So if we go to our get status and then let's do a diff specifically. Well, let's see. Yeah, we can see here we've injected a line into our index. This is all awesome stuff that HiGen can do. Yes, there's a blog post for this in my head. Okay, so we've got our new stream BRB component. That means that this route should be working. There it is. Good to go. Let's just kill the accidental unnamed export. And then now we can work on a little bit of styling. Okay, so I'm going to bring over most things from stream starting component into stream BRB. Let's see here. Definitely want the hearts. Let's refactor this just a bit. I need to get better at my keyboard commands. What is it? Option? Yeah, there we go. And then we want to return this. Run return. Can't type. There we go. And then there's our use effect to initialize the heart animation, just to show you what we're going for. Put this in the chat too. So some version of this, but for BRBack. All right. So we're gonna need to import use effect. Let's do that. Okay, hearts also not yet imported. Looks like that's coming from a page or a file local to stream starting, which we'll need to change. Welcome back, tables. How's it going? It's going well. We're working on setting up styling for the All Turtle site, but then I kind of need to refill my coffee. Coffee cup is empty, and use the restroom. So I need a BRBack screen. So I'm hoping to whip up a BRBack screen in like 10 minutes so that I can BRBack. Do you have a dynamic timer set up for that countdown page? It resets every refresh. So it's, I don't know if you'd call that dynamic. But if you refresh the page, it'll just go back to 5 minutes. Have to be driven development. Yes, talk about pressure. Luckily, I'm kind of catching it early, so I gave myself a little lead time. I mean, worst comes to worst, I can just, throw up a black screen with some text. But I think we can do a little bit better than that. So we want our hearts animation. We really want this higher level. I don't know if I'd call this a component. I suppose it could be. It's not really set up to do that or behave like that right now. This is maybe not the best setup. So that's okay. We're going to just roll with it and hard code some weird file pathing here. So we're going to go out a level to stream starting. And even though this is no longer like contextually locked just to the stream starting component, we're gonna go with it anyway for now. Cool. So we've got our hearts. Hearts are rendering. Cool. Thinking of using this and then letting a query string param dictate the time set. That's a really good idea, the query string. If you need more than 5 minutes, like mine is hard coded to 5 minutes. And sometimes I do need more time, or maybe even like if I could trigger a reset with like a WebSocket or trigger time added or something, that would be cool. I'm gonna check out your CodePen. Oh yeah, I saw the GIF version of this, I think on Twitter or Discord or something. But yeah, a query string param would be great. Sometimes I might know that I need more than 5 minutes. Rezer says, my overlay is dynamic enough that it pulls the details of the current screen from an Airtable sheet. That's dope. Yeah, mine's hard-coded. We can look at it. Stream starting. You can see title right here. I have to do a fresh deploy before every time I stream. Definitely more friction than I'd like. Okay. Hearts are rendering. We're going to steal some styling from the stream starting page. Again, this is not dry. This is just get it done. Just get it done coding. You're not using the WebGL heart from the front page. This is WebGL, but it is different. It is a different, we can look at the code. Oh, Tony, you can see here I am accounting for WebGL not being supported. So this is actually Canvas. And the reason for that is OBS does not support WebGL. Whatever browser it's using to render browser sources does not support WebGL, so we have to use Canvas. So I'm not really falling back here. I'm just defaulting to Canvas. The code itself did not have to change. My stars and the animation, distortion, everything did not have to change. All I had to do is change my require statement to be pixie.js-legacy, and everything worked. So that's cool. I'm not sure like at what point would I reach limitations of Canvas versus WebGL. I'm not an expert in any of that. This is really my first foray into WebGL, and I don't claim to have a high level or deep understanding of it. My understanding is that I can render some hearts that animate on a game loop. Oh, there's also some commands, some Easter egg commands. So let's see, we can go check this out. So you can control this from chat, right? So we can speed them up, and then we can also, I think it's chill speed. I need to change these commands, and we can slow it back down. So someone try it out. Someone go ! warp speed. Earlier versions of Pixie would do the fallback for you. So yes, I think that is true. I think now you need to run the check yourself. But it's still not hard. I think it's all documented. I just need to do it specifically for my homepage. Corgi speed. I mean, we can have that in. This is localhost. It will just work. So Corgi speed should probably change the hearts to Corgis. That's probably more work than I want to do, but that's okay. We're gonna treat it the same as warp speed, or maybe we could go. No, we're just gonna treat it the same. All right, Corgi speed. Tables. Hit me with the Corgi speed. Hey, it works. Yes. Yeah, great package. I went through a period of doing a bunch of Pixie stuff. I'd love to do more. I'd love to make a game. I think that'd be super cool. Pixie.js. It's awesome. You probably know more than I do about it, honestly. You're looking at the extent of my Pixie.js knowledge, and this is like not from scratch. I think I grabbed like the root or the base of this code from one of the examples. I think they had like a Star Trek style example, and I modified it, changed some of the settings and whatnot. The demos and the docs, yeah. This is like adapted or inspired by one of those demos. There's definitely some borrowed code and whatnot. Okay, so we've got our hearts rendering. I kind of want to keep the gradient background. Oh yeah, we were going to copy and paste this styling. So string BRB, the root like wrapper div. Guess I didn't have that on my clipboard. Copy, paste, there we go. Okay, got our nice gradient background. I forget how I got rid of this header here. You can worry about that later. Maybe even just leave it for the first beer pack because I do need some coffee. Okay, so the title, we're just going to grab this H1 and copy and paste it right in. Maybe we can clean this up another time. Not today. And we're going to need colors. Grab our colors. Oh, wrong file. Styles. Import our colors. Okay, so now we have our title tag, which we can wrap here. So s.title. And then we'll just change it to be right back. Darn, Gatsby's dropping their Twitch stream for pair programming sessions and just doing it in Zoom. I didn't find their Twitch stream to be terribly exciting or interesting. I feel like it could use... Maybe instead of dropping it, they should like iterate on the style. Improve the style. I don't know. Okay. I feel like this is good enough. It's good enough for today, right? We've got corgi speed. We've got bare minimum, be right back. Would love for this to go away. How did I get rid of that? Oh, I know. I hard-coded some stuff in Gatsby Node. This is really gross. So don't judge me too hard, but also it's okay if you judge me a little bit. I'm like changing the layout context based on hard-coded regular expression. This is terrible. We don't need to talk about it. I do have to restart the server though. Yes, there is a to-do. What does it say? Clean this up. Nice. Yeah. All right. So this should get rid of the header bar by changing our layout. To do, make good. To do, this is disgusting. So Gatsby is doing its thing. I just made a screen flow tutorial on speeding up your screencast or sections of it. This would be a great time to use that if this were screencast. All right, almost done, almost done. To do, YOLO. To do, this is a just fucking do it. Yes. So I've only got 52 pages and like my site is not that big and it's taking a while to build. Kind of makes me nervous. I wish this was faster. Working on the new site, the Alturtle site, it's great because we've got, what, 4 pages? 5? If you count the 404. And it builds in, you know, under a minute. Boom. Okay. So now I'm going to change my external monitor's input source so I can see Streamlabs on my PC. So I'm looking at my PC right now. And I have a be right back. I can still see chat, which is nice. Yeah, built-in has me kind of worrying recently as well, David. 52 pages is not that many. It's really not. I could see that growing 2x, 3x, 4x, 10x over the next, few months. Just use Gatsby Cloud. Does that even help me locally? Yeah, Tony, I'm glad you did bring that up. It definitely got me thinking. For my client projects, they're not growing. Like the sites themselves are not growing. They're not blogs. They have a very, predetermined number of pages. I think that works perfectly fine. The new All Turtle site, yes, it's going to grow as we add new clients and new case studies. But that's like one new client a month max. So I think we have some time there too. Yeah. Like, can we get incremental builds locally or something? Or I don't know. For now, I'm not going to think about it. I'm just going to keep pushing through. I don't even know what alternative I would use, honestly. Like, I want to use React. I want static. I guess Next. Is Next even any faster? Or do they have the same issue? How does Next do it? Anyone know? Is Dom still in the chat? Okay, Rez says he's looking into Next.js. Let me know. Definitely send me DM on Discord or something. Are their build times faster? Do they do build differently? I'm especially interested in local. I know Gatsby has some solve for the cloud build. I'm not opposed to paying for that if my blog continues to grow. Anyways, we're working on a BR back screen. So I'm probably going to disappear for a sec. Okay, you should be able to hear me again. Back to Jekyll? No, I don't want to go back to Jekyll. Also, I want React. All right, so here we are on the BR back screen. We need to change this browser source. Oh yeah, we didn't deploy. And probably would have been deployed by now if I had remembered to push. Okay. We're going to add a BR back screen. Push that to master. Yeah, while I'm working on it, I figured I would just, add myself in. I can always hide these sources, right? Like, I can always just hide my camera. Now I'm gone. And I can always, like by default, I'm going to hide this stuff. I'm going to lock the sources with them hidden, including the audio input. But sometimes, like while I'm on the BR back screen, like right now, I want to be able to talk. Same with the starting soon. Like I just have it muted. But sometimes I like being able to talk. And yeah, you can't, I'm looking at my PC right now. You can't see that. So you're just probably looking at, oh no, you're obviously looking at the BR back screen. Cool. Trying to build a Next.js project that I've been working on locally now to gauge build time. Yeah, definitely get back to me on that. No rush, but I'm in no rush to switch. Like even if I find out that Next.js is just better, it would probably take me a month to make any moves on that. Current Gatsby site has 152 pages. Yeah, your build time's probably worse than mine. So we're at almost 2 p.m. here on the East Coast. I have a hard stop at around 3:15 for Egghead office hours tables. I know I'll see you there, or maybe See you there, hopefully. And then I'm getting my performance review, my 1-year performance review at All Turtles at 4. So I'm going to have to bow out of the office hours 30 minutes early for that. Tony, the cohort, the Egghead cohort that Tables and I are both in, we have office hours once a week with Zach from Egghead, and today is that day. So 3:30 Eastern to 4:30, we have office hours with Zach. Not really sure what we will be discussing, but Zach always has useful insight. Yeah, it is super cool. So I'm wondering if I'm just checking on my phone. I get notifications to my Slack channel when my site deploys. So let's see if we've deployed yet. Looks like not quite yet. Give it a couple more minutes. Do you know who Zach is? I can probably find, let me switch back to my Mac real quick. I can probably find him on Twitter. We can bring up Twitter. Zach Jones. Really smart, really nice guy. Big fan. Yeah, I love working with him. Very insightful. He knows how to get my brain thinking about whatever it is I'm working on. 14 notifications. What's going on? Oh, I think this is an older tweet. Yeah. Oh, I just heard my VR back screen deploy. Let's just check it out. Cool. It's live. Just heading back to my PC and I'm going to refresh. There it is. Heck yeah. A timer would be nice here. A timer would be really nice. That's okay though. All right, so I'm going to take a 10-minute break. 10-minute break, and then we'll go for another hour or so before the Egghead office hours. So I'm going to go ahead and mute my camera and mute my audio, and I'll catch you all in about 10 minutes. All right, we should be back. I think my audio is good. Got a little snack. Got some coffee. Also, the mail came. And got some very special mail today. Check it out. Looks like the green screen is kind of picking up some of that, but it's a little transparent. And we got the classic logo. Excuse me, I had to cough there. Let's see, what else we got? We got the Morse code, the boop with more beeps. And we got the play until it pays. Yeah, I got one of each. We can link that real quick. Let me switch my monitor back to my Mac. Get rid of this because we are back. And let's just go to Learn with Jason real quick. The 5 sticker pack, $10. Pretty good deal. I think I wanna do the same thing as Jason. I only really have 2 stickers that I could sell. I think like my brand color heart, or maybe this gradient heart, and then the rainbow heart too. I mean, potentially I could do all these colors, right? Just have a bunch of hearts. Yeah. Not quite the variety that Jason's got going. That's okay. Holographic one? Yes. Are any of these holographic? No. I think Chris has a holographic one that I don't have. And that's okay. Cool. So I'm going to go for another like 45 or 60 minutes. See if we can get some more styling. We did have a follow while I was AFK, node_KS. Thanks for the follow. You have Chris's. Did you have to like DM him your address to get those and Venmo him, or were they free? Or I feel like I should have those too, and I just never really followed through on that. All right, so we don't need my site running anymore. We can bring back the All Turtles terminal and start this up. Cool. I'll have to hit him up on that. Yeah, it'd be cool if I could do like a trade with him. Give him a sticker pack of mine and he could send me a sticker pack of his. Got some more coffee. Got some water. Got a little snack. Use the restroom. We're all set. Okay. So where should we start? Well, we have the hero component. Maybe we can start there. Definitely don't want their default header. I'm going to need the site title and the metadata and all that at some point. Let's just comment it out for now. Christian has to run daughter virtual PT appointment. Cool. PT is great. I did a lot of PT in my days of running. But yeah, thanks for stopping by, Christian. Glad you got something out of the stream. Appreciate you being here, hanging out. I'll see you in Discord. Do I have a Discord command? I do. Check it out. I need to change the URL to the vanity URL that we have, but hey. Someone's phone ringing and it's not mine. Hopefully that doesn't get picked up on the mic. Anyways, so let's do the hero component. I've actually got a package that I maintain for all turtles for like the logo and stuff. Although it's on the GitHub package registry, which requires some keys and stuff. Maybe I don't want to set that up now. So this is kind of like where the plan for what I'm doing on stream kind of breaks down. And now it's more like behind the scenes of Ryan coding, where I don't, I go down side tangents, or like I think I want to do something and then I change my mind. So we're treading into new territory. But cool, I need to get more comfortable with that, and I'm happy to be doing it with y'all. All right, let's work on this hero component. So we've got an H1. Already got an H1 here. Oh, and I don't have the fonts. I'll have to hit up my designer for that. So I can't edit this text because I don't have the font installed. So what I can do is right click, copy as text, which is a little more cumbersome than I would like, but we're just gonna make do for now. Maybe I'll actually hit up my designer on Slack. Off stream, of course. And just ask her where the fonts live. And if she's around and available, maybe we can get those. So we're on a mission. We are a mission-driven product studio. Cool. And we've got this arrow, so we can grab this. So I'm going to export this as SVG. Export SVG, arrow down. Let's put it on the desktop for now. If there's any other assets we can export here, yeah, let's go ahead and grab this arrow too. While we're here, see what other SVG assets we might need. I know there's going to be some in the footer. Yeah, so we've got these icons down here. Kind of weird naming. I wonder if the style guide has. Nope, same naming. That's okay. All right, so I do want I'm just going to change the name here. I think my designer is getting back to me, which is awesome. Got a nice Dropbox link. I'm not going to show this on stream for obvious reasons. Just logging into my Google account on Dropbox to hopefully download these fonts. And maybe we can even add the fonts families. I like to do that early because it really kind of defines the look and feel of the site. Cool. I am going to be able to get these. Just tell her thank you. And bring up the downloads. There we go. Okay, so we got all the font families we need. Quasimodo. Let's just install all of this. Open with font book. Nice. And then I think I need to restart Figma once installing fonts. There's actually a couple more, so I should probably do it all. I'm not sure. I guess we're using 2 fonts. Let me look back at this. Font family, Quasimodo. Quasimodo. I don't know where the other fonts are being used. We'll install them anyway. Domain. Never heard of this font. Okay, there's a serif. I didn't see that being used. Maybe it's used in like the case study. Yeah. No? And it still sans serif. Oh well. We're installing them anyway. Domain display, domain, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I'm going to restart Figma. I wish you didn't have to do that. I think you had to do that in Sketch too, but it's all good. Okay. Hey, Joseph. Still live, yes. I've been live for quite some time. Long stream today. Feels good. I think that was my first BRB ever. First break. Normally my streams aren't long enough to where I require a break. I know Robert Tables is a pro at being right back with his smooth sailing bareback screen. Although that might have changed recently. I haven't been on his stream in a while. Okay, so the font should be installed. Can we edit this text? Yes, we can. All right, fonts are good to go. My computer is a little sluggish. I just want to make sure I'm not running anything I don't need to be. I can probably quit Notion. Close some tabs. I'm kind of surprised it's running slow since I am using a streaming PC. It could just be Figma. Figma does like to do that. Closing Streamlabs. Don't really need my... No, I do need the Stream dashboard open to make sure that chat stays. Just bear with me here. Just gonna link my stream over to my designer. Trying to get your stream duration down. Interesting. How long is your average stream? I guess I could close out my site too. I don't know. Figma's a memory hog. Okay. We were exporting SVG assets. All right, back to, I guess it's just these left. So I'm going to name this LinkedIn, and we'll export these as SVG. 4 hours average. I mean, okay, what is your reasoning for trying to bring your stream length down? Like, do you feel like, you know, getting stuck is not a fun thing for viewers to be watching? In which case, would you like prepare a little bit ahead of time so you could skip over that kind of part? Or, I mean, sometimes I see that being a good thing. Kind of weird that it's hard for people to stick around for that long. Absolutely. I mean, we saw some people just in my stream here today alone, you know, come and go. Come in before a meeting, have to leave for the meeting. Maybe they come back, maybe they don't. There's definitely at least I notice a spike in viewers at the beginning of a stream. People are interested and excited to come say hi and then kind of go off and do their own thing. It's definitely hard to keep some, like, you know, one person engaged for an entire 4-hour stream. But But I think it's fine if people come and go or leave it on in the background, maybe not paying full attention. I have no problem with that. Yeah, I don't know. I do like Learn with Jason's style, where it is a hard 90 minutes, and with a schedule and everything. I think that works out well. People make time in the day for it, and that works really great for him. I think there's different kind of styles. Like if you look at people like CM Griffin, for example, he just streams everything all the time, every day, all day, every day, and people come and go, et cetera, et cetera. And I think that works well for him. So yeah. Sometimes you watch multiple streams at once, tables. Me too. I've done that in the past. Kind of bounce between them. I appreciate that. I mean, somebody having my stream on in the background, I have no issue with that. Boost my viewer count a little bit. Maybe they tune in for a little and catch something useful. Who knows? All right, so we've got our SVG asset that's exported onto the desktop. And then what I like to do is create an icons folder that handles my SVGs inside my components. So we'll create an icons folder, and then we're going to have one for LinkedIn. And these are just going to be React components. SVG is, HTML, valid HTML. Therefore, it is valid JSX. And we are going to want to animate some of these. Like if you look at the hover on this arrow, the tail of the arrow is growing. So we're going to want access to the actual SVG element and not just setting a background image. So yeah, that's another reason I like to do this. So we're going to have LinkedIn, we're going to have Twitter, Facebook, and we've got our hero arrow. I am a bit curious if I could just use CSS to, use CSS to rotate and scale the different types of arrows. That might be an optimization that I could do at some point. For now, I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, so what I do is just drag it in, and now you can see we have our SVG. So looking at the code here, I can see I've got this clip path, which to me doesn't feel necessary, doesn't feel needed. I'm curious if we could clean this up. So this was the Twitter. I'm just going to expand these vectors here. See if I can get a handle on what is going on. So what is this? Zoom in even more. What is this here? Hiding it and showing it doesn't do anything. Hiding and showing. What if I move it? I don't even see it. So a lot of times, like when you bring in SVGs from random icon sets or noun project or something, they're not like cleaned up. So I think, what is this? I don't even know how to tell. Oh, there it is. What is this here? This little blip. All right, so we can get rid of this. Just going to delete it. Don't need it. And then I'm going to re-export. Okay. And back into Visual Studio. SVG OMG. Yeah, we should probably run it through that as well. Let's do that, and we'll take a look at the difference. So I'm still seeing this clip path. Can't really tell what it looked like before, honestly, because we overwrote the previous file. But let's take a look at SVG OMG. And let's just see what happens. Let's see if this one is different so we can compare. It's taking a while to load. Is this the right URL? Where's my internet just being slow? There we go. Thank you for the link. Okay. Can I drag and drop? Yes, I can. Okay. So it is doing quite a good job of compressing this. Let's show this in the Finder, and we'll name it Twitter Optimized. Put this back on our desktop, and let's compare both side by side. Desktop, Twitter Optimized. Look at this. You can just tell by the line length that this is, well, we've got some new lines here that do make it a little bit deceiving, but still, it's just so much better. So the clip path does worry me a bit. I don't know, maybe we do need that. I don't fully understand what clip path does all the times. Anyway, so let's copy and paste this in to our React component. So this is going to be a React component. Therefore, we need to import React from React, and it's just going to be a functional component. So we're gonna, I need to get in the habit of naming these functional components. So const Twitter equals, and we are going to want props here so that we can override stuff, and if we want to animate things, we'll need that. So, and then we're going to return our SVG and just paste that in. We're getting some weird syntax highlighting. I'm curious why that is. Oh, okay. So Prettier is not doing what I want it to do here. I'm just kind of manually doing this, which is not great. I do have ESLint installed on most of my projects. We didn't do that today though. That's another like add-on to my Gatsby blog post. Out of curiosity, how much does it break if you use the precision slider on that? Let's try it, yeah. Okay, I'm kind of learning on the fly what these numbers mean. So we're going from 1.6 to 1.3 kilobytes. So this percentage is not how much smaller it is, right? It's 84% of the original size. So a smaller number here is better in terms of compression. So it doesn't really break until here, right? I can't really notice any difference. Can I zoom in? I'm curious what the heck it's doing besides like minifying. Like we can go even smaller here. I'm not noticing anything. Default is 4, okay. All right, so let's try the 1. Scroll up. Oh, so I don't need to command. So let's go back to 100% and just use scroll wheel. There we go. Nice and big. Okay, so it does change a bit. There. Okay, so I think 2 is actually where we want to be. Yeah. Still huge, huge savings. Okay, let's bring this one in. We can look at both of these actually. Yeah, we can see the points here. There's even less of them. Cool, let's copy and paste this one in. It's doing some white space nonsense. We'll export. Prettier might not like clip path. I get this sometimes. Bring SVG in. It wants clip path. Yes. It'd be nice if it just fixed that, like here. Like, why can't it just do that here? Anyways, let's render this. Before we render, I do want to spread these props down. I'm just gonna raise my desk just a tiny bit. There we go. So in case I want to use styled components to override some styling, like the color of the path, we do need to spread the props over this component like that. Okay. So this is going to go in the footer component, which doesn't exist yet. We also did not yet set up HiGen, which means I'm going to be creating a footer component by hand, which is okay. And we'll just copy and paste some boilerplate. And this is going to be footer components. Okay, and for now, we'll just render a nice H1. And then we'll need some styles as well. Cool. And then let's render this in our layout. Just look at our footer. So we do have a copyright. I mentioned before I maintain a really small open source package for All Turtles for things like the logo, the colors. One of those components is also the All Turtles copyright. So we're not going to worry about that right now. I think all I'm going to do is try and render this Twitter icon. So I'm going to get rid of this. And we're just going to assume for now that every page has the footer. And we'll need to make sure we import that at the top. So we're going to import footer from, looks like we're in the components folder, so footer/footer. And we should be rendering our footer out now. Looks like something is breaking. Probably our styles. So I copied and pasted the styles in, but didn't change the name of this component. So fix that. Sometimes you do need a hard refresh. Okay, footer component being rendered. Great. So let's get that icon. I know that this icon is going to need some custom styling. It's going to have hover state, and maybe might need to size it. So we're going to import it directly into our styles file. So we're going to import Twitter from, this is going to be icons/Twitter. And then using my custom VS Code snippet to quickly generate a styled component export. And then we're going to call it styled Twitter, which is equal to styled Twitter. And I know this is going to have opacity of 5 by default because I looked at the design file. And on hover, we're going to raise that opacity back up to 1. And we'll give it a nice and simple transition. And let's check it out. Oh, we also need to put it on the page. Oh, did I do that already? No, I didn't. So s.style Twitter. And there we are with a nice hover as well. Let me check up on chat real quick. So I did a quick build of said Next.js project. It takes about 2 minutes to build about 30 pages. So how do we need to compare that to Gatsby somehow. 2 minutes still doesn't feel great. Feels a little slow. Is that a local build or a production build? Anyways, it's 1:40 a.m. I need to go get some sleep. Good night, Rezer014. Thanks for stopping by. I enjoyed your stream earlier. Glad you... Oh, and thanks for the raid earlier. Appreciate that. Okay, so we've got our Twitter button rendering here. This is going to need to link. It's going to need to link off at some point to the actual Twitter site. Let's see what we can do. Do a link, and this is going to be to and I probably want to put this like in the Gatsby config or something at some point, but for now I'm just going to create some variables at the top. Twitter.com, I think it's just all turtles. All Turtles Co. I'm glad I looked that up. Cool. Okay, so it's going to link to Twitter. And we obviously need to import a link from Gatsby. And I'm not sure how the Gatsby link component handles external links. Yeah, it doesn't. So I have a link component that I can grab from my site that handles external links. Let's check that out. I'll bring this over. We're gonna need to make a new component. Really need to get HighGen set up. Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, I found that out the hard way. I don't think it has styling. Yeah, no styling. So nice and simple copy paste. So I'm defaulting to open all external links in a new tab. All the reading I've done says that that is bad practice. However, the powers that be want me to continue linking in a new tab. So that's why this is here. I should probably change that on my site. Should definitely change that on my site. Anyways, getting on a tangent. So the way I do it is I just pass in an L, and if it's equal to A, we render the standard A tag. So EL equals A, and then instead of importing link from Gatsby, we're going to import the link from the local components. Well, I guess because we're here, we can just do this, and then we'll need to change this import syntax, and let's bring it down because it's an internal import. Great. Can't resolve link. Oh, that's because it needs to be link/link because I don't use index.js. All right, and back to our route and give it another test. Click it and boom, it's working. Cool. So I think this is a good time for a git commit. So we added the footer and icons and link. Cool. I'm gonna push. I know it's not deploying properly. I will figure that out probably after my meetings today on why the Circle CI build succeeds, yet we can't see those changes. Great. So now I guess it's time for some busy work. We can get the rest of these SVG assets optimized. I just want to zoom in here and see if there's any other weird, vector shapes just hanging out. These ones look cleaner. They don't have any random points or paths. So I don't think we need to touch our exported ones, but we do want to use the SVG optimizer. I wish this was not such a manual process. So we'll zoom in again, and let's adjust the precision while keeping an eye on that file size. So I'm seeing a change there from 1 to 2 that I don't like. I'm thinking 2 is the way to go. Still a huge savings. Love it. Okay, and then we'll need Facebook. Zoom on in. Definitely a big change from 1 to 2 again. Nothing else beyond that. So we're gonna go with the 2. What's that, like a 73% reduction in size? Love it. Love to see it. Just checking in on my company Slack, making sure I'm not ignoring any messages. Cool. I think we're good to go. Keep cranking. Okay, so we've got LinkedIn, we've got Facebook. So we're going to bring those in. We already made files in our icons directory. I want to grab the boilerplate. So LinkedIn, we'll paste it. Facebook, even the arrow and the hero arrow, we'll just paste this boilerplate in and change the actual SVG content when we get there. So in my downloads folder, here are the optimized SVGs. I probably should have done the arrows, but I didn't. That's okay. So we got our LinkedIn SVG, and then I'm going to paste that in here. I do need to get my linter fixed, but I don't feel like it. But I will spread the props. Maybe do a couple enter keys. Really exciting stuff. I'll change the name. This one's LinkedIn. And next we're going to do Facebook. Drag and drop. Select all, copy paste. Spread the props. Enter key. I'm just going to do a multi-cursor enter this time. Cool, good enough. Okay, I'll change this to Facebook. Okay, I'm trying to get better about use my keyboard and not relying on the mouse. So it's Shift left arrow? No. Option left arrow? No. Shift Option left arrow. Yes. Copy. Command down arrow. And then Option Shift left arrow, paste. Boom. All right, and we do want to render all of this in our footer. So I'm already seeing like some duplicated code here. So that's a nice use case for abstracting some of this into like a variable or something. Keep these opacity transitions consistent. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a const called like icon styles. And that's going to be equal to this CSS here. And we will need to import the CSS function from styled components. And then now we can just reuse this. like this. And we'll clean this up nicely. And then we'll just render these on the screen. So we're going to want styled LinkedIn. And what was the order? Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. So Facebook first. And let's just check and see what's up. Facebook not defined. We did forget to import in our styles, so we will remedy that. Look at me getting better at the keyboard. Okay, this should render it. There we go. Awesome. We are making progress. So I'm going to go check out that footer. Let's get this background color. Primary navy. So I'm not sure where those colors are in the style guide. Maybe they're just not in the style guide, which is fine. But we are going to need to bring that into our colors file. So let's grab this color. And we'll open colors, and because this is not a project color, I'm going to export it at the top. Export const navy, I think that's what it's called. And we're going to give our footer a background color of colors.navy. And we will need to import colors. So I'm going to import, how did I structure this? So there is no index file yet. Maybe I'll make one right now. Import colors from, one more level, yes, styles. And this is not going to work because there is no index file here. I'm not doing a default import. So I make an index.js, and all this is going to do is export all as colors from colors. Now this might break. I might need a Babel plugin. And I do. So you may need additional loader to handle the result of these loaders. And I really like this syntax, so I find it worthwhile to use the, what's it called? Babel plugin export. David, you've wanted to do the same type of thing. Cool. Well, you are about to see it firsthand. Dev dependencies. So here are my Babel plugins that I use for importing and exporting in a way that I find convenient and concise. So I don't have to like import first and then export. I can just export from. So I'm going to go ahead and install these. So I forget exactly, do I need all of these for what I'm doing here? Or just the export default from? I think the only way for me to really answer that is to look up each Babel plugin. This is the blog post. It's a blog post right here. And I'm saying that out loud so that when I rewatch this VOD, I can remember to make a blog post. So installing those should fix this. And while that does what it does, we're also going to do the same thing for breakpoints and type styles. So this will allow me to import colors like this rather than styles/colors with the default export. You might be thinking, why does that matter? Who cares? Well, if I'm importing multiple things from styles like breakpoints, it can all be done on one line with the comma delineated list, which is super nice. I mean, I could even do that for these icons here if I created an index file from inside of our icon. So we might as well just do it. Again, if HiGen was installed here, creating these or generating these components for us, this would be a lot less manual. HiGen is not yet installed on this project, and we probably won't get to that today. What time is it? Where'd my phone go? Misplaced my phone. That's okay. 2:56. So yeah, we've only got another like 20 minutes. Not going to get to HiGen today, but that's okay. So we want to export Twitter from Twitter. And then we're going to do the same thing for the rest of our icons. Let's probably just go down the list in alphabetical order. So we got Arrow, we got Facebook, Hero, Arrow, LinkedIn, and Twitter, which is already done. So now I'm going to need to restart my server after installing those Babel dependencies. However, I should be able to import like this and get rid of the slash, and then it's all just on one line. A lot less duplication of this file path. Now I don't remember if I think I need a Babel RC. I do. So we need to make sure these plugins are declared in our Babel RC. So I'm just going to copy and paste this from my personal project. I think one gets created. No, I guess the default Gatsby starter does not create a Babel RC for us. So we're going to go ahead and make a new one. .Babel RC and just paste it in from my personal project. And it should be good to go. So I'm going to restart our server. And while that goes, I can hear my AirPods dying, so we're going to switch. I bought a second pair of AirPods. So I've got first gen, and then I've got the AirPods Pro for cases just like this where I have AirPods in all day long. Cool. So, made a quick clip so you have a bookmark of this content. Oh, that's a good idea. Thank you. Yeah, this is going to be a long stream, so actually sifting through it is probably not a good use of my time. I probably could be taking notes. Should be taking notes next time. All right. So our imports are working. The build is no longer crashing thanks to our Babel plugins. I am curious why they're not visible. Like, are they the same color? They shouldn't be. They're definitely there, as you can see. Let's see, what color are they? Like, what if I change this to... All right. So yeah, something's up with the color. Maybe the export. Yes, they are not the right color, at least not the right color for our footer in the assets page. I'm curious where they are used besides the footer, if anywhere. Don't really see that right now, so we're just going to manually change the color. I think is it white? Yeah, it's white with just an opacity. So we're going to manually change the color of all these icons. I could do this in the styled wrapper, but for now, we're doing it here. So fill white. white, white, and we should see these render now. Yes, beautiful. This feels like a good place to commit. Thank you for that DM tables, appreciate it. Okay, so add all these files. I probably should have committed like 2 or 3 times in here, but that's okay. So installed Babel import plugins. We also created index files. Cool. So we've got about 15 minutes left before I want to take a break and then hop on the egghead call. What else should we look at? Like this copy's not ready. This logo is going to come from the npm module that is on GitHub, which means I need a special key. So probably not going to look at that yet. We could revisit the hero. We do already have this. Okay, we could render the down arrow. Let's do that. So in our hero, we're going to want to render s.hero arrow, which doesn't exist. So let's make it exist. It's actually going to be styled hero arrow. This is going to be styled hero arrow, and we need to make sure we import this. Import hero arrow from icons. This looks like a really great start. You're very productive. Thank you. Especially considering also streaming it. I appreciate that. I feel like I'm kind of going slow and kind of fumbling a bit. So yeah, that means a lot. Thank you. Okay. So this should render like the Twitter icon, if I remember correctly, because we have not yet added that. Looks like it's breaking on something. So let's just retrace our steps here. Oh, it's got to be styled hero arrow. Cool. So it is rendering the component. That SVG is just not right at the moment. We're going to go ahead and optimize this, even though I don't feel like it. I really wish this was automated. Arrow down, yes. And we'll zoom on in. So for this one, I think because it's so simple, I'm not noticing a change between 1 and 2. Zoom in a lot. There is a slight change. Okay, because it's such a small difference in byte size, we're gonna go with a 2. Cool. Grab this and then bring it in. Copy it all, and then we need to go to hero arrow and paste it on in. And then I'm going to do some manual linting, which is not great content, but that's okay. Spread our props. And this should be all set. We do want to change the name of it. And just check to see. There is our arrow. Cool. So now that we've got proof that everything is like rendering, we can get rid of this green background. I don't think the hero has a background, so we're just going to leave this unstyled at the moment. And this hello world can also go. So we can get rid of that from, oh right, that's from the index page. Pages index. And we'll just get rid of this H1, not needing that anymore. And then we've got our case studies. Cool. All right, I think that's all the work we're going to get done. But I do, as I wrap up, I do want to create a to-dos markdown file. So we know where to pick up next time. So let's go ahead and do that. I think it can live top down or top level. So to do MD. All right. So I definitely need to fix whatever's going on with the build pipeline. So fix deployment. That's probably gonna happen off stream. We're gonna want HiGen for quick and easy component scaffolding. Definitely don't want to be creating folders and files and exporting from them from the index, etc., all by hand. So that needs to happen. That could happen on stream for sure. Just a random question. Should I stream like 100% of this project? Like if I'm going to work on this like after my meetings later tonight, should I hop on stream, or does it detract from the overall project to do some work off stream? Not sure, just kind of a rhetorical question. I do something similar. I create an engineer notes MD file in every repo I make and track stuff like that. Cool. Because I'm the only engineer on this project, I think it's okay for me to use the generic to do, but I think the general idea is the same. Having a very easy way to pick back up in a project is key to being productive. 100%. I agree. It's also really cool doing it on stream. It's my first time kind of doing that. Okay, beyond that, what else do we need like at a project level? Obviously, there's tons of styling that needs to be done. Creating components. We need to install the All Turtles npm module from GitHub package registry. And this is more than just an npm install, because I do need, I think it's an npm rc file and perhaps a special key or something. I can't remember. There's a little bit more setup to install an npm module from the GitHub package registry instead of just the default npm package registry. If the work could be sensitive, you can do it off stream, right? I think deployment could potentially be sensitive and also kind of boring. But I might need to like log into AWS, and I don't want to do that on stream. So that's definitely happening off stream. But like HiGen, for example, like I could definitely see myself doing this later today after my meetings. And like maybe that's the only thing that I do, and that might take me 20 or 30 minutes. Is that worth hopping on stream to just install HiGen? And then, you know, by the time my meetings are over, it's going to be 5:30. So I might hop on or, you know, install HiGen and then call it a day. So yeah, like thinking about, oh, I could do it in Discord. That could work. Maybe that's a better way to do it. Because then there's no push notification. There's no expectations of, hey, I'm going to be entertained here for some amount of time. Yeah, I could do it in Discord. It won't be recorded, but that's okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of open to, you know, not being super strict about my Twitch. I already don't have a schedule. I kind of, you know, take month-long breaks. So is it a big deal if I do a 30-minute thing? Yeah, maybe not. Okay, install the All Turtles npm module. That is an important thing to do. It'll give me access to things like these logo SVGs. Beyond that, think it's just, let's look at the case study page. It's going to be lots of styling, lots of asset exporting, PNG exporting. Definitely going to need to define like how these case studies look in MDX. You could record it using slobs at the same time. Streaming to Discord, yeah, that's a good idea. Could definitely do that. So like connect to Discord from my PC so that slobs is configured the way I want. Yeah, that's a good idea. I could even still upload it to YouTube. I do kind of want to create a playlist for this series of streams here where I'm building out the All Turtle site. I feel like that'd be a cool thing to like link to, especially like to other coworkers. So let's just go back to our to-do. I think I'm just going to do a catch-all here. Styling, assets, etc. And this is just going to be like a grind, right? It's going to be a sprint. I don't know what I want to call it, but just like lots of typing. Not much like thinking going on, really just banging out styles, HTML, content, etc. Awesome. I think this is where we're going to wrap it up. I did just remember that I don't have a stream ending screen. So maybe I will do that next time. Or maybe off stream for next time. I do really like the idea of a stream ending screen, and maybe I do have one. And it's just not set up yet. Let's see. Stream starting, command seduce. No. Do not have a stream ending. I mean, we got 2 minutes before I need to take a break. Stream, be right back. We're doing it. We're going for it. Copy this component. Paste it. Stream ending. I could definitely raid somebody too. I'm so out of the streaming practice. Stream ending. And we're going to use the hearts again, because why not? It would be great to vary this up. I used to have content here too, like my Twitter handle. Okay, and we need to add this as a route. Pages, new file, stream ending JS, and we can copy and paste. We want stream be right back. And this is going to be ending. I forgot to use highgen, so we're going to have to manually export from our components index. So we'll just copy this, and instead of BRB, it's just going to be ending. Okay. And this should work. I don't think I have my server running. This is kind of a neat trick that I've probably demonstrated a ton of times, but I've got a nice little bash alias. I just type in RW, my initials, and it does a lot of things. It boots up our server. It runs npm start. It also runs git status, and you saw code pop up there. So it also opens VS Code to the right workspace. Just like a little productivity hack to quickly change between projects, especially as like a freelancer working on many projects at once. Sometimes, within the same hour. Automation like that is super handy. Streamers are always like, and I'll see you over on, and then the raid cuts. Yeah. the stream ending screen does kind of fix that issue. It's just like a natural way to end. It's kind of like easing, right? You got the ease in with the stream starting, you got the ease out with the stream ending. Lets people know what's going on, especially if someone tunes in right as we're about to end. It's very clear what's happening rather than just them hearing a few words and the stream cutting right then. Okay, so let's prepare our git commit. I'm hoping this just works. I'm going to YOLO it. And no, I'm not. We're not going to push. We're going to test it locally. Cool. That's good enough for now. We're just going to push it. Quickly. Quick. Make a scene. So I might go blank here for a sec. If you couldn't hear me before, you can definitely hear me now. Okay, we'll turn my camera on just while I'm working on this. So we're going to want to change that browser source to, instead of stream BRB, it's going to be stream ending. Done. And that's still deploying, so this is not going to work quite yet. Leap and Lemur, wow, this is still going? Yeah. We are building a full-on website here. I have a deadline 1 week from today to have this up and running on production. So, this is my full-time work that I'm doing. I'm trying to incorporate my full-time work into more content. I might talk to my manager about doing this kind of thing. So I'm kind of, multitasking. Normally I would just be doing this while sitting in Discord or something. But I figured I would try and stream some more. Maybe bring some people from my company into the stream. Expose them to my world over here on Twitch. And it seems like people are enjoying it too, so I'm liking it. People are learning some things. I'm learning some things, making a lot of progress. So yeah, this is definitely different than streams I've used to do or have done in the past. And who knows if I'll do another one like this, another project like this. But they are going to be longer streams, less planned out per se. Maybe not as exciting because they're going to be kind of longer with some breaks in between. But yeah, we're doing it. We're trying it out. So I'm waiting to hear the Slack notification in my ear for my deployment. And then once that happens and the stream ending screen deploys, we will shut her down. Head on over to the Egghead office hours into my 1 year performance review. A little nervous about that one. My manager is great though, so I'm not too nervous. Still, performance reviews are they're tough. Even when you have a good relationship and, you don't think you're going to hear anything super, super negative or scary. It's still just a tough conversation. Only happens once a year. 3 hours and 44 minutes. How are you able to tell my stream duration? Is that displayed on Twitch somewhere? I wish I had that command. There's a command that most streamers have, right? Uptime. Exclamation point, uptime. Is that something that comes for free? Stream time, uptime. Do I need to custom make that? Yeah, I need to customize. That doesn't exist here. We'll get there. Small incremental improvements. We made 2 small incremental improvements today. We made a mirror back screen, and we are about to deploy a stream ending screen. So that is forward movement as opposed to not forward movement. It is a 1 instead of a 0. Incremental, that's what I've done for 2 years now. Exactly. And that's why your stream is dope. Just Judo, hey, thanks for chiming in the chat. Uptim is displayed under the stream by now. Also, hi. Yes, hi. How's it going? We're ramping up here pretty soon. I don't know if you've been lurking, but glad to see you in chat. Still haven't heard that deploy notification. Circle CI is probably working really hard. Right there yet? Figured as much. I always join streams I've never been into when they wrap up. Yeah, that happens to me too. Okay, I just heard. Let me make sure this browser source is okay. Refresh. Huh. Kind of surprised that's not working. We might just wrap it up here. I'm running out of time. Maybe there's somebody we can raid. Stream ending. rw.codes. Okay, this should be live. I'm thinking this is just a Streamlabs caching thing, even though I am hitting the refresh cache. Try one more thing. Boom, we got it. All right. Cool. All right, let's see. Is anyone live? Any corgis live? I wish there was an easier way to like if I could group the people I want to raid at some point instead of, because I see like Dr. Disrespect and I'm not gonna go over and raid Dr. Disrespect right now. That list like doesn't even scroll. Let's see here. I don't see. Oh, we got Chef Brent. We can raid Chef Brent. Let's do it. All right. Thanks again, everyone, for coming out. This was fun. Hopefully, I'll be seeing y'all tomorrow, probably. So we're just gonna go ahead and raid Chef Brent. Give him a welcome, and then I'm gonna head right into the egghead call. Later, y'all. Thanks, Joseph. Thanks for coming. Leap and Lemur. Good to see you. Thanks for coming. Peace.